Shravanam Diaries podcast.
Hare Krishna, we're continuing to read Bhagavad Gita as it is, the book by His Divine Grace, Abhayacharana Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme. Text 22. 22. Purushaksa parapartha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya yasyantah sthani bhutani yena sarvam idam statam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although He is present in His abode, He is all-pervading, and everything is situated within Him. Everything. Purport. It is here clearly stated that the supreme destination from which there is no return is the abode of Krishna, the Supreme Person. The Brahma Samhita describes the supreme abode as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, a place where everything is full of spiritual bliss. All the variegatedness manifest there is of the quality of spiritual bliss. Nothing there is material. That variegatedness is expanded as the spiritual expansion of the Supreme Godhead Himself. For the manifestation there is totally of the spiritual energy. Spiritual, as explained in chapter 7. As far as this material world is concerned, although the Lord is always in His supreme abode, He is nonetheless all-pervading by His material energy. So, by His spiritual and material energies, He is present everywhere, both in the material and spiritual universes. Yasyanta sthani means that everything is sustained within Him, within either His spiritual or material energy. The Lord is all-pervading by these two energies. To enter Krishna's abode, or the innumerable Vaikuntha planets, is possible only by bhakti, devotional service, as clearly indicated here by the word bhaktya. No other process can help. We have to take this. The gravity of the situation is very, very important, because the sun is moving only forward. There are no time machines. Nobody will ever build a time machine. So why don't you Chanakya Pandit said that if one moment is lost, you can't buy it with 1,000,000 of coins, right? Okay, so if I'll tell you, like, in addition to that, if one moment is lost, you will never, ever be able to build a time machine and go back and fix it. So, no other process can help. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. I apologize. But this is what Bhagavad Gita says. It's not my words. No other process can help one attain that supreme abode. That supreme abode of Krishna is not attained by any other process. You can try so many things, but you will not get there. The Vedas, Gopalatapanni Upanishad 1.21 also describe the supreme abode and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there's the abode where He lives, and then there is the personality of Godhead, right? Who He is. So who and where, right? I think Radhakrishna Prabhu posted this meme. He said that I identify myself as invisible. I'm transparent. My pronouns are who, where, right? So this is like, actually it's applying to Krishna, because Krishna can identify like that, in the sense that when, like, Krishna in the material world, we don't see Him. We don't see Him. But it says here that, there is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, where in His supreme abode, right? But in our material abode, he is invisible. Where is he? Where is that blue boy with a flute running around? Where is he with his girlfriends and friends and, like, uncles, fathers, like, so many uncles, so many aunties he has, like, and then he has, like, these mother, of course, and father, of course. But where is he? He is in the temple. In this temples, so many, you can see there. You can see Krishna, you can see Nrisimha Deva, you can see Varaha Deva, you can see Giriraj, you can see definitely Giriraj, Hare Krishna Giriraj. You can see, who else you can see? You can see Rukmini Dwarakadish, you can see Radhaparta Sarthi, so many people. You can see people, personalities, supreme personalities, people. So disrespectful, oh my god. Okay, Eko Vashi Sarvagah Krishna. In that abode, there is only one supreme personality of Godhead whose name is Krishna. He is the supreme merciful deity, and although situated there as one, he has expanded himself into millions and millions of plenary expansions. So, even though he is right there, right? He is the supreme merciful deity. Merciful deity. Merciful. I think that's a key word, because sometimes we feel that Krishna is not very merciful. Like Premanjan Prabhu in his class, he was saying we think that Krishna is unkind, but we have to understand he's kind and that he's always just, right? But we should also understand that Krishna is always merciful, right? What does it mean? It means that if you ask Krishna something, he'll do it, and it's like Vishaka. Vishaka, she is the wife of His Grace Shruta Kirti Prabhu. One time, me and Sudevi Mataji, during Kartik time, Vrindavan, the best place to be, me and Sudevi Mataji were sitting, we were talking, and there was a problem with Sudevi Mataji's mother, who was passing away in Uzbekistan. And we were discussing this, and suddenly Vishaka comes, and we know Vishaka, everybody knows Vishaka. We're like, Vishaka, Haribol, please pray for Sudevi Mataji's mom. And Vishaka is looking at us as if like we're complete retards, and she's like, that's her style, like I really like, she's like fiery. She looks at us, she's like, and we're standing right outside of Prabhupada's like room. She's like, go to Prabhupada and ask him, and then it is his responsibility. Meaning, like, he will reciprocate, he will make arrangements, because you have asked and you have surrendered sincerely, completely to Srila Prabhupada. She's like, go. And she was not saying it in the sense that I want to help you because, like, I'm so busy in my service in like DT department. No, she was saying this because, like, who are you asking? You need help with the mother who is passing away. You need all the help you can get, and you have to ask it from a person who can actually help you and actually make some arrangements. So go to Srila Prabhupada, he will help. Right? So that's why devotees' mercy, like they say, devotees are even more merciful. Of course they are. But the deity is supreme merciful deity. Talk to your deities. They're also supreme merciful. Like, I don't understand. Like, okay. Rati Manjari, she was telling me, like, in 2016, we were, like, serving in the Pujari room of my Guru Maharaj and preparing for puja and stuff. And then, like, I was talking to her, and she's like, yeah, we need to talk to Shyam Sundar. Yeah. I'm like, yes. She's like, yeah, Shishi Radhe Shyam, we have to talk to them. And I'm like, yeah, that's true, because, like, with such a situation, who else are you going to talk to? Because, like, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, yeah, in Mayapur, of course, Jai Shishi Radha Madhava. But I personally, like, I related more with Radhe Shyam my whole life. I don't know why, maybe because I've known them longer, so like that. So, although situated there as one, he has expanded himself into millions and millions of plenary expansions. The Vedas compare the Lord to a tree standing still, yet bearing many varieties of fruits, flowers, and changing leaves. Wow, even the Lord can be compared to a tree, standing and yet bearing many varieties of fruits, flowers, and changing trees. And that's why the trees that are impious are considered the ones without the flowers, without the, fruits, and without the changing leaves. And we look at these carnivorous trees, right? Carnivorous trees, they're like not like super pious because they don't have fruits, like juicy, like, like sweet, just like we have in Tajikistan. But what to do? Some people really like carnivorous trees, but some people are like neutral. They're like, okay, it's there, it's not there, it doesn't really serve any purpose. The planetary expansions of the Lord who preside over the Vaikuntha planets are four-armed, and they are known by a variety of names: Purushottama, Trivikram, Keshava, Madhava, Aniruddha, Hrishikesh, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Sridhar, Vasudeva, Damodar, Janardana, Narayana, Vamana, Padmanabha, etc. The Brahma Samhita 5.37 also confirms that although the Lord is always in the supreme abode, Galoka, Vrindavana, he is there. He is all-pervading also, so that everything is going on nicely. Galoka eva nivasatya kilatma bhuta. As stated in the Vedas, Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.8, Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate Svabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriya Cha. His energies are so expansive that they systematically conduct everything in the cosmic manifestation without a flaw, although the Supreme Lord is far, far away. Imagine, the Lord's energies are flawless. The Lord's energies are flawless. This is just wonderful. Okay, so Jnana Bala Kriya. Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriya Cha. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. Okay, so flawless Supreme Lord. Okay, we will read tomorrow next verse, because Krishna explains how to when you go away from this world, how to never come back. Hare Krishna. Okay, let's read further. Text 23. Yatra kale tvanavrittim avrittim chaiva yogina prayata yanti tam kalam vakshyami bharatarshabha. O best of the Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from this world, the yogi does or does not come back. Purport. The unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Lord, who are totally surrendered souls, do not care when they leave their bodies or by what methods. I really like this. Prabhupada says, I'll explain to you the different time at which, the yogi comes back or doesn't come back. And then immediately Prabhupada is like, well, unalloyed devotees, they don't really care what, how, when. It doesn't really matter for unalloyed devotees. So it's a question of how unalloyed we are. They leave everything in Krishna's hands, because they believe Krishna has hands, so they leave everything up to Krishna's hands. Not like impersonalists. And so easily and happily return to Godhead. But those who are not unalloyed devotees and who depend instead on such methods of spiritual realizations as Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Hatha Yoga must leave the body at a suitable time in order to be sure of whether or not they will return to the world of birth and death. So if we're practicing Bhakti Yoga, it doesn't really matter how we die. And if we're practicing any other yoga, we must calculate everything very strategically. But the thing is that, do we really know how to practice other yogas? And if we are saying that we are unalloyed devotees and Bhakti yogis, do we really practice Bhakti Yoga sincerely, right? Like, this is... If the yogi is perfect, he can select the time and situation for leaving this material world. But if he is not so expert, his success depends on his accidentally passing away at a certain suitable time. So, if he is not expert, his success depends on his accidentally passing away at a certain suitable time. Meaning he's not expert to be as being a yogi, right? But if he is expert, he can pass away at a suitable time, right, according to his calculations. The suitable times at which one passes away and does not come back are explained by the Lord in the next verse. According to Acharya Baladeva Vidyabhushana, the Sanskrit word Kala used here refers to the presiding deity of time. Kala. Presiding deity of time. That's why some people think that, Kala is, black, right? Sometimes it's Kala. But actually, like Shamsundar, like he's also black. But, there's like the Shyam, right? Yeah. So then Sundar, right? So it's beautiful. Time can be beautiful also. And another point is that Ghanshyam, right? Like we had... okay, it's off the topic, but we had... we made a dance. It was from a movie Janak Janak Payal Baji. Me and Radha Krivanosova, daughter of Nishtharani Mataji and Shamsundar Prabhu in Vrindavan, Russian house. So they we danced. She's such a awesome. Like, I love Radha. She and we danced. She played Radha and I played Krishna. What was that? Gana Shyama nahi tum kale ho, right? So then, before dancing, we were supposed to announce the dance, and the announcer of the dance was one African devotee, and I was basically describing the dance, and Radha was like showing the movements before we started the dance, so people would understand what are we dancing about, because Bharatnatyam, Haribol, I mean, it was not Bharatnatyam, it was Kathak, but still, like when you look at the dance, like, are you interested in the meaning of the dance, or are you interested in the, like what are you looking at the dance for, especially for the ladies, like, oh yeah, she's dressed very nicely, oh yeah, but like what is like the meaning behind all the mudras and stuff, so. And I'm explaining that, yes, and Krishna comes, and then he starts, like he breaks the pot and this and that, and then Radharani starts saying, you are not Ghanashyam, which is like the cloud full of rain and everything. She's like, you're just black, and after that, no, it was just like everybody was like, ha 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 ha, and then. I spoke to my dad, and my dad was like, you should not have said that. I'm like, why? And he's like, because this MC, he was African bodied, so like he was African bodied, and you just said that he's black. It's like, you can't say that. And I'm like, I didn't use any other words, like what is that even supposed to mean? Like if someone is African bodied and they're like dark skinned, like like I don't know, Draupadi, she was also dark skinned, like it doesn't make sense. But my dad, he's just being very, very careful. He knows how to like not offend anybody. So if the yogi is perfect, continuing, if the yogi is perfect, he can select the time and situation for leaving this material world. But if he is not so expert, his success depends on his accidentally passing away at a certain suitable time. The suitable times at which one passes away and does not come back are explained by the Lord in the next verse. According to Acharya Baladeva Vidyabhushana, the Sanskrit word Kala herein used refers to the presiding deity of time. Okay, we already read this, but I just think that repetition is the mother of learning. That's how they say in Russia, or should I say Россия. Text 24. Agnir Jyoti Aha Shukla Sanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra prayataga chanti Brahma Brahma Vidojana. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery God. Fiery God. Where's my water? Okay, later. In the light, at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. Purport. When fire, light, day, and the fortnight of the moon are mentioned, it is to be understood that over all of them there are various presiding deities who make arrangements for the passage of the soul. At the time of death, his mind carries on. His mind carries one on the path to a new life. So the mind can carry us away somewhere to the next life. If one leaves the body at the time designated, the root of the designated is designated. I don't know, I mean, honestly speaking, like whenever I would see how like the Western systems of education are, I'm like, what it doesn't make sense. Like you have language and then you have literature, right? So in Russia, we are studying Russian language. And at the same time, we're studying literature, because literature, which is reading, writing, all of these like skills of expressions and literary, like hyperboles, metaphors, comparison, when you're олицетворение, how you say олицетворение, overfacing, or how do you call it, when you are comparing inanimate objects to animate, like as beautiful as the moon, like this. So this is literature, it's not language. Russian language, in language we study what is the structure of the language, what are the rules of a language, how to break down the different sentences, different punctuation laws of punctuation, laws of how you different, like say there's a word and then you can draw what is the root of the word, what is the suffix of the word, what is the ending of the word, what is the like this thing that you add in front of the like undivided or divided. So like all of these things like are learned in Russian language. So like if you don't know the language properly, then like how can you actually speak on it? But as far as I've seen, either like British system or American system, it's like do you really know your own language, right? I mean, at least school, I'm talking about school kind of level, at least up to high school. I mean, we were learning how to find the root of the word in like 4th grade. 4th or 5th grade. Actually, from the 3rd grade we would even learn this. Yeah, maybe that's why, actually, I'll tell you honestly, being like in an international society for Krishna consciousness and like also looking at how the world is, the only reason Russians are constantly laughing at the Western world is because they think they're very stupid. And there was one comedian, his name was Zadornov. He had like a series, like I don't know how many series of performances, stand-up shows, where he was just blasting and quite objectively saying how Americans are stupid. And the thing is that, look, if he can't find a single intelligent American, doesn't mean that all Americans are stupid. Like, we have so many incredibly genius American devotees I've known. But, they were not educated. So if somebody is not educated, you can't, like, make fun of them and then, like, decide that that country is, like, pathetic. What is this? It's the same thing about Tajikistan. So, okay, so these people are a little bit relaxed. So, what does it mean? Does it mean they're lazy? No. It means that they only work for their family and for their how do you call it, for their values. So that's all. We have to understand people and we have to love them the way they are, and then we have to educate them. Thank you. So let's read the next verse, because otherwise it won't make sense. Text 24. Agnir Jyotir Aha Shukla Sanmasa Uttarayana Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Brahma Vidojana. Those who know the supreme Brahman attain that supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery god in the light and at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6th month when the sun travels in the north. Purport. When fire, light, day, and the fortnight of the moon are mentioned, it is to be understood that over all of them there are various presiding deities who make arrangements for the passage of the soul. So when we die, we meet all of these presiding deities, because every timing has its own presiding deity, isn't it? So basically it's like there are so many people around. Like when I was a kid in Sukhareva was our mini Mayapur, near, like in Moscow suburbs. There was this wonderful devotee called Sanatana Rupa Prabhu. Sanatana Rupa Prabhu, he was an artist, he was disciple of Jayapataka Maharaj, a very, very transcendental personality, and he would tell us, he would be like, there are 64 dimensions and we can only see 3 dimensions, but there are 64 dimensions. And then he's like, look at your hands when you're dreaming at night, and you can control your own dream. And I'm like, okay, Hare Krishna. And I'm like 5-year-old. Oh, no, not 5. I was already 9 actually. We moved there when Vishaka was 2. Yeah, I was 10-year-old. Yeah, so they're different, like we don't even see them because we're not in that dimension. So yes, there are deities presiding over time, and when we die, subtle body comes out, and then we see all of those deities, and then we associate with them, and then we go wherever we're supposed to go. So at the time of death, the mind carries one on the path to a new life. If one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. So we have seen the all the description of the auspicious moment just before. It's very important because sometimes we think that, oh, this devotee, it was an accident, or this devotee, it was like, I don't know, maybe he did something himself, or or this devotee, he was diseased, right? And many times people think that disease is a manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you don't have a good doctor, yeah. If you have a good doctor, maybe it's not necessarily, right? Because like Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, he says that basically Ayurveda is Ayurveda is meant for us to die healthy, die healthy. So, just like that. At the time of death, the mind carries one on the path to a new life. If one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain the impersonal Brahmajyoti. Mystics who are advanced in yoga, every bhakti yogi is a mystic, topmost mystic, yoga practice, can arrange the time and place to leave the body. I'm going there. Where's my water? Okay, I'll take the water. you know. My mom always used to say, I just saw the water, there was a glass of water on the, how do you call it? There was a glass of water on the table. It was filled with water. I could just take it and drink it. But the thing is that my mom always told me that if you leave food or water open overnight, then the pishachis, they just come and they just pass their impurities into it. So, everything should be covered overnight. Otherwise the pishachis would come. In Tajikistan, everybody knows. So then, so that's why, just like my Guru Maharaj was describing in one of the lectures he's given in Kazakhstan, Kazakhstan actually. He was describing that Mother Yashoda, she takes a golden pot, okay? It's golden. She fills it up with water. She puts a very, very thin cloth, very, 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 see-through, completely transparent. And then she puts it under the moon, so that the moon would give the water, some special, maybe like nakshatras, or, special blessing of the water. And then, with that water, she bathes the Lord. It's energized. Yeah, so if you leave water overnight, and then in the morning you're yeah, and then the whole day you're rah! like obsessed or possessed by something. It's really just, control yourself and stay clean. Stay clean. Shuchi, right? So, mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and place to leave the body. Others have no control. If by accident they leave at an auspicious moment, then they will not return to the cycle of birth and death. But otherwise, there is every possibility that they will have to return. However, for the pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an auspicious or inauspicious moment, by accident or arrangement. By accident or arrangement. For the pure devotee, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an auspicious moment or inauspicious moment, by accident or by arrangement. So it can be auspicious moment, or it can be inauspicious. I really want to find out the Sanskrit word for auspicious, inauspicious for my research. By accident, it's accident. It's a car crash. It's a Titanic. The plane fell down. The scooter, you lost control. You were hydroplaning. What else could be there? So many things could have happened with us. When I was a kid, I would constantly fall and on my knees and constantly blood, or I'm trying to crawl somewhere and then I would injure my hip, and then I was such a clumsy kid, accident. I didn't do it purposefully. It was an accident. So even if we die by accident or by arrangement, there is divine arrangement, right? If we're a pure devotee in Krishna consciousness... Oh, I don't have battery. Oh, no, you don't shut down. Thank you so much for tuning in today. The book links, previous episodes timeline, and biography of the author can be found on shravanamdiaries.com. The link is in the description, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Krishna